Bitcoin is creating a massive V-shaped recovery, and on today's update video, I will be discussing my price targets of this breakout from this upcoming V-shaped recovery, including the most important charts, the liquidity and liquidation heat map, and of course, I will give a massive update on my $900,000 Bitcoin long position, which is currently over $70,000 in profit. So I will be discussing this and many more important charts. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap that like button back above 1,000 likes. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content, because right now currently on the imminent short term, it is indeed still weekend. Today it's Sunday, the last day of the weekend, and yeah, we're still creating an average or slight CME futures gap, and just like we have done every single weekend, usually at the end of the weekend, we tend to either fill up the CME gap already, or it's going to be happening either on the Monday or Tuesday. So make sure to be expecting that Bitcoin is most likely going to be hovering around that 63,000 US dollar level. But a thing that we can't ignore is the fact that Bitcoin has seen a very strong recovery, right? So Bitcoin has been recovering very strongly towards the upside. We first had that massive dip towards the downside, and we went all the way down to $56,000. Like, you know, if you've been following the channel, at that region, I said to everyone out there, I am going to be loading up on my Bitcoin long position. And just like I said I did, I bought the exact Bitcoin bottom right here, and boom, Bitcoin bounced towards the upside afterwards. And currently we're in a profit over 70,000 US dollars. So Bitcoin is bouncing towards the upside, but we're creating a massive V-shaped pattern. And this is a typical bullish bias pattern. And really where I'm currently looking at is to be breaking above this red box of resistance. Since, yeah, this is going to be the point where we saw that big crash towards the downside. It is going to be also the most important point to be breaking above of. And once Bitcoin does break above this region, that is going to be the confirmation that we're probably going to be seeing that next big run up towards the upside. So yes, we're currently trading against critical resistance. And honestly, I think that it is going to be more than likely that we're eventually going to be breaking above this level, because if we're currently looking at the 4-hourly time frame, this massive downtrend, which has been providing resistance for over 3 times in a row, we've currently finally broken above it. And since breaking above it, right now we're seeing this previous resistance is actually flipping into support. And what we want to be seeing next is, of course, a very strong bounce from off this level. But indeed, it is looking actually quite strong for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is breaking the multi-day downtrend. Right now we're just seeing the retest of it, and this is a 26-day downtrend with a lot of significance. So I do expect that Bitcoin is most likely going to see a strong bounce from it. Also on the 12-hour time frame, an even more important pattern, the Bitcoin falling wedge pattern is currently also breaking out, which is a bullish bias recovery pattern, which is always getting created in these downtrends after we had a significant rally towards the upside. And right now it is also starting to be breaking bullish. It's starting to be breaking the downtrend, which also saw more than 4 rejections in a row. We're currently finally breaking above it. So I do believe, and I have said it many times before, all my previous videos here on the channel, is that Bitcoin indeed was going to grab the liquidity on the lower side and then start the next leg towards the upside and move up very quickly. So now indeed it's weekend, so I'm expecting that Bitcoin is most likely going to consolidate sideways. But once next week is going to get started, I think we're going to get that next exponential move towards the upside. And I do really expect that Bitcoin is going to be pushing up towards new all-time highs from off this region where we're currently sitting on. And I do believe that most likely the Bitcoin bottom is already going to be in. And I have discussed it so many times before on the channel, but any 20% correction in this market is an opportunity you should be embracing with both hands here. Because yes, whenever we get a 20 to 23% correction, we always tend to see the market be bottoming out. And it looks to be that in this Bitcoin bull market, the new standard is just that 20 to 23% corrections. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense because we've been seeing it happening many times before. In the last cycle, it was 30%, but this cycle, the new standard is 20 to 23%. So please don't get fooled by it. And some are saying that Bitcoin is still going to go down to $52,000. I mean, it could still be happening, but I think it's a very unlikely scenario to be playing out for Bitcoin. So while all this is happening, the funding rates remain to be negative, which basically means that while first end is ready towards the upside, the funding rates were extremely positive, like you can see on this chart right here. And that basically correlated with the fact that so many people were actually opening up long positions. And that was also the reason why the market was overheated. And that is why the market started to slow down, right? Because there were too many people overexcited on Bitcoin. And now, while we are still sitting and trading around all-time highs, the funding rates has been dropping significantly, even gone negative here on the lower side, which made me, of course, extremely bullish. And I discussed it many times before. Rule number 1, always once the funding rates go negative in a Bitcoin bull market, you need to be bullish. Just like in the last bull market, every single time once the funding rates went negative if you would have bought Bitcoin, you would have made a significant profit. And so far, it looks to be that the playbook is once again playing out. And we've seen some slight negative funding rates here on Bitcoin in this region right here. And I do believe that this is also indicating that next bottom on Bitcoin. So don't get fooled by this, but indeed, funding rates are negative, meaning that the majority of the sentiment is bearish. And that is, of course, a good thing to be seeing in a bull market, because yes, that is also giving us some more liquidations on the top side. Because right now, if I'm looking at the liquidity, the majority of the liquidations are still laying above us, because the majority of the traders are actually trading short. And that is a very good thing for crypto and Bitcoin, because if we're going to be pushing up to $70,000, we're going to see more than $8 billion worth of Bitcoin short liquidations. But if we're going to be moving down to $57,000, it's only going to be $3.6 billion, which is of course exactly the same amount of money up or down. So this is a very important thing to be paying attention towards. And also, if I'm looking at the liquidation heat map, around $67,000, there's more than $2.7 billion worth of Bitcoin short liquidations. So I've always said this, Bitcoin always follows the liquidity, and right now we're seeing an ever so slight cooldown on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going sideways. It is maybe a little bit boring, but I can guarantee you, once this weekend is over, and maybe we're already going to be doing some crazy price action over the course of the weekend, which I personally don't really prefer, but I think that next week it's going to really start happening. Bitcoin is just going to grab that liquidity on the top side and move up higher. So that is most likely what I think is going to be happening, and eventually we're going to be going up to $70,000 or $72,000 to grab that final liquidity, which is also still laying above us. So yes, I am currently trading this on Bybit, and I showed this trade from step to step on my channel. Just go back towards my previous videos I have uploaded on the channel. I mean, I showed you over here, this is very bad, or yeah, in this video right here, literally, I showed you that I was in a loss over $21,000. I still showed you the trade, that I entered my trade, and listen to this video. If you listen back, I said that I am so freaking convinced on this trade that Bitcoin is going to go higher, because all the metrics are saying the same. Funding rates were extremely negative, sentiment was extremely bad, liquidity was being built up on the top side, etc, etc. I explained it all in that video, but it doesn't really matter, right? You need to be watching this video right now. So yes, I am long on Bitcoin, but if you want to be trading yourself as well, check out the link in the description of today's video, where you can currently claim an insane free $200 on Bybit. And all you need to do for that is click this link below here, sign up an account on Bybit. And yes, you only need to make a deposit of $100 in your first 7 days, and then you will get a free $200 trade. So super nice, easy to claim, and make sure to benefit from it, because it's only a limited time offer and it's going to be expiring anytime soon. So check it out right now. Then also on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, we're even creating more bullish developments. And what we're currently seeing on the weekly time frame is that Bitcoin is creating a massive Bitcoin bullish hammer candle, and that is a very good thing here. We also exactly came down towards my support target. Bitcoin is bouncing towards the upside again, and yes, what we basically saw in the bigger picture is that it was retesting this previous resistance range right here, and right now it's flipping that into support, which is of course looking extremely bullish. Here on the weekly time frame, we're still seeing Bitcoin getting rejected from this trend line, and really, whenever Bitcoin breaks above this region right here, that is going to be the point and the confirmation that we are just heading higher. And yes, if I'm looking at the bigger picture of it all, we just had the halving, and you have to understand that always Bitcoin goes the most exponential after the halving. I mean, if we're looking at the previous data, in the first halving, we saw Bitcoin surge over 8,000% afterwards, second one, 3,000%, and the third, 800%. And the fourth halving has just been here. And historically speaking, the most gains always come after the halving. So please do not get fooled right now here. Also not by the spot Bitcoin ETF inflows, because clearly what we're seeing is that the spot Bitcoin ETF inflows is dumb money. Because remember, while Bitcoin was trading at all-time highs, we were seeing record inflows, and now while we were trading at the all-time lows, Bitcoin saw record outflows on the spot Bitcoin ETF, and now we're bouncing. We're seeing once again like record inflows on GBTC. So please do not get fooled by this data. I think that the spot Bitcoin ETF money is not necessarily smart money, and you should not get fooled by that. So important, interesting to be paying attention towards, but it shouldn't be your leading indicator. So this was it for me on today's update video actually. So if you did enjoy the content, don't forget to slap up the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.